Level 1. The newborn. Your cell is exactly 5.4 millimeters across. It was never built for you. You were built for it. You are 0 days old. You chew through the last thin film of wax and drag yourself into the light. Your wings are wet. Your legs don't agree with each other yet. The world hits you all at once. 95 degrees of thick, vibrating air. The low roar of 60,000 bodies moving in the dark. The smell of propolis and pollen and something sweet you don't have a name for. You didn't choose any of this. You were chosen for it. Within 3 minutes, they find you. 2 nurses, then 4. They don't speak. They groom the last wax dust from your antenna and press royal jelly against your mouth. It's warm and faintly sour, and it is the best thing you have ever tasted. Also the only thing, but still. You eat. You are fed again. You are held inside a wall of sisters that pulses like one slow lung. You weigh 0.1 grams. You are one of up to 2,000 bees born today alone in this single hive. Nobody marks your emergence. Nobody writes it down. The nurses who cleaned you will tend 40 more newborns before the afternoon is out, and they will not look for you again. None of that lands yet. What lands is the warmth. The hum that comes up through the comb and into your feet and through your whole small chest. The hive has a heartbeat, and you are inside it, and for right now, that is everything. Your compound eyes are still calibrating. You can see ultraviolet before you can see red. You can feel the waggle of a forager's dance 3 inches away, and your antennae read it like a headline, even though you have never once been outside. Your body knows things your days don't yet. That body, 6 legs, 2 sets of wings, a wax gland already coiled and waiting, a stinger you will never use more than once, is a countdown clock you cannot read. Every system in you was engineered for output. The warmth you feel right now is real. The purpose that warmth is wrapped around is already in motion. You think you know what you're signing up for. You don't. Level 2. The nurse. 3 days pass. Then something shifts. The glands behind your head swell almost overnight. They fill with a white fluid so dense with protein, it barely moves when you tilt your body. You didn't ask for this. Your body just decided. On day 3, you are a nurse, and the brood frames are yours. Your first larva is a pale comma of a thing curled at the bottom of a cell. It is younger than you were this time last week. You lower your head and feed it. Royal jelly, warm from your own glands, pressed directly into the curve of its body. Then you move to the next cell, then the next. The frame holds over 1,000 larvae. You check each one. You come back. You check again. 1 larva, 6 days to grow. Up to 1,300 visits from you. You count nothing. Your body just pulls you back, over and over, like a tide nobody named. The brood must stay at exactly 35 degrees Celsius. Not 34, not 36. You press your thorax against the capped cells, and your body runs 3 degrees warmer than the air outside, just to hold that number. You are a living heating pad. You don't rest long. If the temperature dips 2 rows down, you move there. The cluster shifts, you shift with it. On the 5th day, a larva in cell 7 of the 4th frame down is cool. Too cool. You feel it the moment you land. You stay there a full 4 minutes. 2 other nurses join you without a word passing between any of you. Together, you hold that cell at temperature. The larva survives. You will never know what it becomes. A worker maybe. Maybe a forager. Maybe the one who finds the clover field in August. You move on. That is the event. That is the whole story of day 5. You saved 1 small life. You don't know it. You never will. What you do know is the dark. The same dark it's always been. The comb, the warmth, the smell of fresh wax and larval skin. Somewhere above the hive, past the landing board and the entrance, and 30 feet of open air, there is a sun. You have never seen it. You know it exists the way you know anything, in your antennae, in your compound eyes, still tuned to light you haven't met yet. The dark feels like the whole world now. Most of you believes that's fine. Level 3. The Builder. Day 12. Something tears loose inside your abdomen. Not pain, pressure. 4 pairs of wax glands along the underside of your body push out a single white scale, thin as a shaving of soap. You have never done this before. Your body doesn't care. It just starts. You pinch the scale with your front legs and pass it to your mandibles. It weighs 0.8 milligrams, less than a raindrop. You work it. You chew and press and pull for 20 minutes without stopping. The wax grows warm. It softens. It goes from brittle flake to something you can shape. Then you press it into the frame. It holds. You make another. The other builders are already here, dozens of them, bodies hanging in a curtain of linked legs, passing axe up the chain. You join the chain. You find your place. The hive hums at a pitch it didn't have 2 days ago, a working pitch, a building pitch, and you are part of the reason. By day 14, you complete your first full cell. 6 walls, each angle exactly 120 degrees. You did not measure. You never measure. Your body is the instrument. You press your head inside and the geometry is perfect, tight, without a single wasted gap. A cell meant for an egg, or honey, or the next generation of something that doesn't know your name and never will. That cell will still be here in 3 years, long after you are gone, long after every sister you have ever worked beside has gone. The wax stays. The work stays. You made a real thing. Let that land. It is good. Here is what you don't feel yet. To make 1 pound of wax, your body must burn through 8 pounds of honey. You are not aware of this accounting. Nobody told you. But your reserves are dropping every shift, spent down like a candle burning from the inside. You are thinner than you were on day 10. Not much. Barely enough to measure. You don't notice. You go back to the frame. You take another scale. You chew it warm. The hive needs 3 more rows before the honey flow, and the honey flow is not waiting. You press the wax flat. You move to the next gap. You feel it. You build something today. Something that will outlast you by years. That's enough. That's more than enough. You don't stop. Level 4. The Guard. Day 18. You walk toward the light. Not to forage. Not yet. You move through the lower brood frames, past the builders still hanging in their wax curtains, and something pulls you forward. A draw you don't have a name for. Your antennae are picking up a draft you have never noticed before. Fresh air, cut grass, heat of bare ground. The entrance tunnel is 30 centimeters ahead. You step into it. You stop there, and you stay. The older guards give you 1 pass of their antennae. 2 seconds, maybe less. They read you the way a key reads a lock. Your pheromone signature matches. You smell right. You smell like the queen, like the frames, like home. They step aside. You are stationed. Your venom sac is full for the first time. It holds 0.1 milligrams of apitoxin, barely a speck, not enough to register in the world outside. But it is yours, it is loaded, and your body knows exactly how to use it. You hold the entrance and you feel something settle into your thorax, like a stone dropping into still water. You are good at this. You find that out fast. A forager returns every 6 to 9 seconds. You read each one in under 0.2 seconds flat. Pollen dust on the legs, the right wax smell underneath it, the queen's signature woven through her coat like a thread. She passes. The next one passes. You don't think, you just know. Then one doesn't match. She is small, dark, from somewhere 30 meters east. She drifts into the tunnel like she belongs here. She doesn't. Her pheromone signature is wrong by a fraction so thin you couldn't name it, but you catch it before her second leg crosses the threshold. You block her. You push her back. She tumbles out into the sunlight and does not return. You stopped something real, a threat to 60,000. You did it alone, in a fifth of a second, without a single mistake. That is the win. It is warm and solid and earned. Here is the thing underneath it, so small you can't feel it yet. You have read 500 bees today. You have checked each one against a single template, the queen's chemistry, the hive's chemistry, home. Everything outside that template is wrong. Everything. You don't have a second category. You don't have a question. You have a signal and a verdict and nothing in between. You stand at the entrance. The draft moves through. You check the next one. Level 5. The dancer. Day 21. You step outside. Not to guard, not to check, to go. The sun hits your compound eyes and splits into 10,000 pieces. You have never felt direct heat before. Not like this. Not on open air with nothing between you and the sky. It lands on your thorax like a warm hand. You hold there on the landing board for 3 full seconds, reading the wind. Then you lift. The hive drops away beneath you. You bank northeast on instinct, following a gradient of scent you can't fully explain. Something floral, something green, something insistently sweet riding the airstream at about 4 meters up. You fly 400 meters. It takes you under 2 minutes. And then the clover field opens below you like a torn seam in the earth. White heads nodding in every direction as far as your eyes can track. You land. You drink. Your honey stomach fills. You do not know how long you work. You know that when you lift again, you are heavy in a way that feels like purpose. You fly back in a straight line. You find the hive without a single wrong turn. You find the dance floor. Here is the thing about the waggle dance. Your body already knows it. You don't learn it. You become it. You orient your run at 42 degrees left of vertical on the comp. That is the sun's angle relative to your field, encoded in muscle and gravity. You waggle your abdomen. You run the line. Your waggle run lasts exactly 1.5 seconds. And inside those 1.5 seconds lives the full address of a clover field 400 meters to the northeast. Distance, direction, quality. All of it in the tremor of your body. 60 sisters fall in behind you. They read you with their antenna. They feel your vibration through their feet on the comp. And they leave. They come back full. You did that. You, a bee who has never once spoken a word, who has no name and never will. You told 60 other lives exactly where to go, and they went. And the hive eats tonight because your body said so. That is not a small thing. You feel it all the way into your legs. The forager cohort you just joined has an average remaining lifespan of 22 days. You don't know that number. You feel only the sun, the field, the dance, the return. You feel genuinely useful in a way the guard post never quite matched. Outward, generous, bright. You will fly again tomorrow. Your wings are already thinner than they were this morning. Ultraviolet light does that. Breaks the protein lattice in the membrane, one flight at a time, slow and silent and certain. You don't feel it yet. The sun just feels warm. Level 6, the forager, day 23. You are 5 kilometers from home. 5 kilometers. You know this the way you know the sun, not in words, but in the pull of the Earth's magnetic field threading through the iron-rich cells behind your eyes. You have flown farther than any guard will ever stand, farther than any nurse will ever crawl. You are the hive's outermost edge, its farthest reach, and the morning smells like linden and cut grass, and something clover-sweet drifting off a low ridge to the east. You find it. A new field, inworked, dense. You drop in. This is your best day. You work it clean and fast. 10 round trips, hive to field to hive, field to hive to field. On your 6th return, your corbiculae are packed so full the pollen sits on your back legs like 2 small suns, bright orange, tight and heavy. 40 milligrams of nectar in your honey stomach. You know this weight. You love this weight. Back at the hive, you unload into a waiting receiver in under 90 seconds, and you turn around and you go again. No one records 40 milligrams. No one marks 10 trips. The hive does not keep your name in a ledger, but you know. You feel the number in your legs, in the clean exhaustion of your flight muscles, and it is enough. It is more than enough. You did that. On trip 8, you passed the field where you foraged first, 3 weeks ago. White clover, 400 meters northeast. You mapped it with your own body. You danced 60 sisters there, and they came back heavy. It is gone. Mowed flat. Just green stubble and the faint ghost of sweetness still hanging in the air at 4 meters up. You circle it once. You circle it twice. You circle it a 3rd time, banking slow, reading the ground with all 8,000 lenses of each eye. Nothing. You accept it and you leave. That is what foragers do. You find the new field and you go back to work. But something sits wrong on the flight home. It is not the mowed field. You have adapted to wars. It is something else, something older. You pass over the hive entrance and for 1 second, 1/2 second, you catch the warm draft rising from inside. Wax and royal jelly and the faint milky smell of open larvae. You know that smell. You don't know when you stopped knowing it from the inside. 11/7. The worn one. Day 29. You leave the hive at 6 a.m. The younger foragers leave at 5:47. You notice this. You don't say anything. There is no one to say it to. Your wings took 800 kilometers to become what they are now. That is more than London to Edinburgh. You cannot see the damage. 30% of the surface area is gone, eaten away in tears too small to name, frayed at the trailing edges like an old cloth. But you feel it. You tilt 4 degrees to the left on every straight run. You compensate. You tilt 4 degrees right. The correction costs you muscle. The muscle costs you time. Every kilometer now is 1.3 kilometers. You reach the linden field in 11 minutes. Last week it was 8. You load anyway. You load well. Your corbiculae are packed tight. 40 milligrams, same as always. Your navigation is still clean. You cut vectors the younger bees won't learn for another week. When a cloud shifts and the polarized light pattern changes at 200 meters altitude, you adjust in under a second. You know things they don't know yet. Your body is a library with a cracked spine. You turn for home. The flight back takes 14 minutes. You pass 3 bees from your cohort going out. They are moving fast. Their wings are whole. You watch them shrink behind you, and you don't circle back. At the hive entrance, the guards stop you. Not long. 3 seconds, maybe 4. They read your pheromone signature, and it barely registers. Too faint now. Worn thin by 29 days of heat and propolis and constant use. For 3 seconds, you are a stranger at your own door. Then something resolves, and they let you through. You don't stop moving. You find a receiver. You unload. But the receiver is a bee you don't recognize. She was a larva when you made your first flight. She took your load efficiently, faster than you handed it off. You were the slow one. You go back out. You make 7 trips today. Last week you made 10. The week before that, 12. The math is not complicated. You don't do the math. You just leave again at 11 a.m. and again at 1 p.m. and again at 3, tilting left, correcting right, burning twice the fuel to hold the same line. The field is still good. You still find it. On the 7th return, the sun is lower, and the light comes in at an angle that catches the hive entrance just right. The golden wood grain, the propolis seal dark along the joint, the steady ribbon of bodies moving in and out. You have flown toward this exact picture 200 times. It is beautiful. You are very tired. You go inside anyway. Level 8, the hollow one. Day 34. You leave at 6:18 a.m. The younger foragers left at 5:47 again. You don't count the gap anymore. You land on the landing board when you come back from the first run. You sit there. 4 minutes pass. You count them the way you count flower rows, without meaning to, without stopping. No one waits. No one moves you along. The guards clock your pheromone signature and step around you like you are a piece of propolis stuck to the wood. You are not a threat. You are just slow. You get up. You go inside. You unload. Your hemolymph protein is at 40% of what it was on emergence day. You don't know this number, but your body knows it. It knows it in the way the comb tilts when you walk across it. It knows it in the way your thorax muscles fire, half a bit late, like a drum with a loose skin. The line between forager and corpse runs right through 40%. You are standing on the line. The mite has been with you since day 30. Tiny, red-brown, tucked at the soft joint between your second and third tergid, where your legs can't reach it. It has been feeding on fat body tissue for 4 days now. Not quickly. It doesn't need to hurry. It has been patient in a way that nothing in this hive is patient. You still fly. You reach the linden field in 14 minutes today. It was 11 last week. The field hasn't moved. You have. You load 40 milligrams and you turn for home. And somewhere over the second hedgerow, your abdomen trembles at the end of the waggle run. A small tremor, like a note held too long. It stops. You correct. You fly on. You have made this dance 300 times. The younger bees watch the run and read the angle and the duration, and they go. They don't watch the tremor. They are not looking for it. The information is good. The body giving it is not. The dance still works. That's the part that holds. Back on the landing board you sit again. 3 minutes this time. An improvement. The hive is doing well. Honey stores up, brood healthy, capped cells tight and even across 6 full frames. You carried some of that. A real share of it. 40 milligrams at a time, 300 times. In all weather, with cracked wings and a tilted flight path and a mite at your back you cannot name and cannot reach. The sun hits the entrance wood the same way it did yesterday. You get up after 3 minutes. You go back out. Level 9. The last flight. Day 38. You leave at 5:51 a.m. Not because the sun tells you to. Not because a dance told you the clover is open. You leave because something older than memory tells you to go. It speaks in the same register as the first warmth you ever felt, the first comb you ever cleaned. It says, not inside, not here. You weigh 93 milligrams. You came into this world at 120. The missing 27 milligrams are the hive. Every foraging run, every frame you built, every sister you fed on day 2, every waggle you held straight through the tremor. The weight went somewhere useful. It just didn't stay with you. The entrance tunnel is dark and smells of propolis and warm wax and the particular softness of capped honey in bulk. You know this smell better than you know anything. You will never smell it again after this minute. You don't stop. The logic doesn't ask you to stop. You fly. Your thorax fires. Not late this time, just quiet, like something winding down from a long run rather than failing. The sky is dark blue at the edge and pale gray at the top. The dew is already down in the grass below. You can see it catch the first light, each blade holding one small bead of water, like the cells held honey, like the frames held brood, one thing cradling another all the way down. You make it 60 meters. The linden field is 800 meters northeast. The second hedgerow is 400. You don't reach the hedgerow. You clear the garden beds your keeper planted with borage and phacelia, blue flowers, the ones you have worked 100 times, and then the grass comes up and you are in it. The dew is cold on your legs. Your wings are still. You don't right yourself. The ancient logic doesn't require it. Here is what you leave behind. 6 full frames of capped honey, healthy brood across 4 deep boxes. A colony that will cluster in October and hold through February and emerge in March with enough stores to start clean. 40 milligrams times 300 flights. You carried roughly 12,000 milligrams into that hive. You gave back more than you took. The math is simple, and it is brutal, and it is correct. No one will come for you. No one will notice the 60 meters. The hive doesn't keep count that way. It keeps count in honey weight and brood survival and the slow rightness of a colony that makes it to the other side of winter. The grass is wet and cold and very still. The colony thrives. You don't. Level 10. The ancestor in the wax. You are in the walls. Not as memory, not as name. The hive has no system for names. You are in the walls the way water is in wood, pressed in, structural, invisible to any eye that looks for you directly. It is July again. The same lindens are open. The same keeper walks the same path between the same 2 boxes. In the top deep box, on the 4th frame from the left, there is a cell. You built that cell on day 19. You secreted the wax from glands along your abdomen in paper-thin flakes, and chewed it soft, and laid it into shape with your forelegs. It took 11 minutes. You did not know you were building anything that would last. You were only building. That cell has been cleaned 7 times since you shaped it. The wax has been thinned and reworked and built back up by 7 different generations of workers who never knew your name and never needed to. This morning, a queen egg rests inside it. The queen laid it at 6:14 a.m. She did not choose the cell. She walked to it because it was ready. It was ready because you made it ready 38 days ago, before you made it to the grass. The bee that hatches from that egg will clean cells on day 2. She will feed larvae on day 5. She will cup brood on day 12 and build comb on day 19 and guard the entrance on day 24 and fly the linden field on day 30 and leave at dawn on day 38 and make it some number of meters into the blue morning and come down in some patch of cold, wet ground and not get up. She will not know you. She will not need to. The honey you carried is still here. 6 frames of it, capped in the same wax you helped lay down. The colony clustered in October, exactly as the math said they would. They held through February. They broke cluster in March at 47 degrees and began brood rearing before the first willow opened. They made it to the other side. You gave them that. Not your name, just the weight. There is no grave. There is no marker at the 60-meter point. The grass grew back and the dew comes every morning, and no one has noted the place. But the comb holds. The honey feeds the brood. The colony lives its one enormous life, with no center and no edges, the same way it always has. Each piece giving out before it wears down, each cell reused before it's missed. You are everywhere in it. You are nowhere in it. The hive does not mourn. The hive does not forget. The hive was never keeping track of you that way. It is enough. She breaks through the wax ceiling, antennae unfurling into the darkness of the hive. She cannot know that her sisters will teach her to build the geometry of her own cage, that she'll tend larvae wearing her own borrowed time, that one day the sun will call and she'll fly until her wings dissolve into the work. She doesn't understand yet that service is the only shape a life can take here, that perfection demands erasure. But the hive is warm now, with 10,000 bodies like hers, all recently emerged, all beginning. The dance starts again. The cycle continues.